yeah, I think the next topic we wanted to tackle was self-doubt and insecurity when it comes to you yourself as being a counselor and the impact that you can have on others' lives. And then the question that will most likely come to many of you is questions like this, and obviously they'll be different, but this is kind of the one we're phrasing here, okay? Will the kids even like me? How can I teach them? And I'm not even athletic or cool, so how is that even, or smart, you know? How is that possible for me
have an impact.
To have an impact on people?
I think if that is a question you're having, then you need to be out at camp.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that you have those questions shows how much you really know. There was, someone was telling me this, how the very skills, so the skills required to perform a task correctly are the same skills required to know that you can't. So, if you have doubts like, I'm not cool or I'm not smart, then knowing that tells you exactly the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the faith where obviously we are all broken.
Yeah.
None of us will ever measure up to what we have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this. You personally cannot have any lasting impact on anyone, but God can use you to impact anyone.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So it's not up to your own ability to do things. It's up to what God does in you, right?
And when it comes to self-doubt, just coming back to it, prayer. You know, pray that hey, you might not be an athletic counselor, but maybe pray that you can be there in a different area, and that's the important part. It's not about being cool or smart or athletic. It's about serving and being there for the kids.
And from personal experience, I didn't think I was very athletic or cool, but apparently I was rated the second coolest counselor in my cabin, so out of 3, so not too bad.
Yeah. And another cool thought is our very doubts are simply opportunities to rely more on God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this topic is definitely one that
a lot of people struggle with.
And this is one that we're really excited to talk about. So what happens, or what if my cabin is full of non-believers?
Yeah.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
is exactly what you want.
Yep.
You should praise God that you got that opportunity.
Yeah. So,
but don't go into it by your own pride.
Yes. Or your own level. Okay, so let's say you believe yourself to be a pretty good person at sharing the faith, right? Don't go in there with this big head that you're actually going to be able to convert everyone there. But the best part is that you get to plant a seed into the kids, and then they can possibly have that wonder and question carry with them for the rest of their life, and then other areas God can work in their lives to show Himself to them.
Yeah. Let me just put myself there for a second. If I was in a cabin full of non-believers, I would be so stressed out.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah.
So yeah. Completely
once
180
again,
from what we
once
did.
again.
Yeah.
In that fear, God is there.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. Because when you have that moment of, oh my God, why did you put me here? Why, how am I going to do anything with this?
Yeah.
After that week, those kids are going to look back and they're going to be like, wow, that counselor was just crazy. I can't believe he actually believes in this God person.
Yeah.
And then later on, God's going to show you how it was just another opportunity to rely on him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Strengthen your own faith too.
strengthen your own faith. And the kids are going to see that and they're going to respect that, whether they end up being converted by the end of the week or not. They're going to respect that you didn't have your own strength going into it, but that it was actually God in you.
Yes. So I have a little thing that comes to mind. Or actually, so how I look at it is, you're going to be in a cabin, and most likely, I believe most camps, it's your co-counseling. And I would say that if you are entering in a cabin where your cabin is full of non-believers, I would say there is a big importance to make sure that you walk alongside your co-counselor, whether that be an older person or someone younger, and be on the same page together, because there's a big importance in leadership being on the same page, and we see that in all areas of the Bible, even in marriage, right? That's a big importance. What I'm saying here at camp, though, is in order to have a very healthy atmosphere for those kids, make sure that you and your co-counselor, your lead counselor, are constantly in prayer together, constantly in separate devotion, and possibly devotion together if there's some sort of free time, and even ask other counselors to come alongside you and pray. Because they might have a cabin where their whole cabin's like just so head over heels, like in love with God, and so their job now is to keep nurturing those kids, but now to also help you, because guess what? You're going to have some very, very hard moments and vulnerable and tough parts in that week, or I don't know if there's a different structure where it's like a month, right? But it's gonna be tough. So I would truly consider slowing down and realizing this is much bigger than you, and that your job is to love and show Christ's love to those kids, and
set a good example,
and especially show Christ's love to your co-counselor or your lead counselor, because that's so important.
Also, big importance on this when you're interacting with these non-believer kids. Don't feel the urge to have the answer for everything, because oftentimes we can think we have the right answer for everything, and then we keep getting asked different things, and suddenly our pride is broken. And your pride should never be in your knowledge of the word. It should never be in your understanding of the world. It should be in God's power in you.
And on that note, I can't tell you how many times I've asked older and more wise Christians like tough questions that I'm struggling with, and they go, I don't know that answer. I don't know it. I have people that I need to go to as well about these answers too.
And sometimes that's even more powerful than giving the right answer.
Because we believe in a God who we can see in many ways, but we also can't see in many ways. And there's a part of our faith where we have to believe in almost a supernatural element, in the sense that we need to make sure that our faith is not blind faith, but steady faith in God. And there's an importance in, hey, that question, I don't know, It's tough. I don't know if I'll ever know the answer here on Earth, but I am just marveling in the abstract and amazingness of my Creator and my God. And I think there's a big importance in that, and taking a step back and saying, I don't have all the answers. So yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah, one more thing.
There was a week this year during youth ministry where a guy came in who was a non-believer. I think he had a Christian background, so he knew what he was talking about. He knew all the answers that would stump us. And he came into the youth group and he asked his hardest questions, and as leaders we were kind of stumped by it. But that gave an opportunity for the kids that we had been ministering to step up and start engaging in the conversation with him. And it was so encouraging to me to see their faith in how they were answering him. And so having an experience like that is very difficult as a leader. But you need to have faith that it's a part of God's plan for them to be there. And it's a blessing that you can just experience that with them.
And there's an importance in being vulnerable with your own doubts. That's not to say that you give this idea that your faith is not strong to these kids, right? But you can tell them, hey, this is also something I struggle with, and that's very human to have those questions. And
I'm not an answer robot.
Exactly. I'm not an answer robot. And
we don't.
The Christian.
They don't give us a manual.
All the books we can read on this, still we will never know the answers, and that's fine. So yeah, just enjoy the unknown.
Yeah.